And this is your election headquarters. Now, the 2020 elections has experienced impressive average voter turnout of 78% compared to the 2016 turnout of 69%, with 270 constituency provisional results already published by the multimedia group, with just 5 constituencies left. Over 98% of the constituencies have come in. Out of the 270 published, Nana-Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is leading John Dramani Mahama by 518,000 votes. Here's the breakdown. Nana-Addo has 6,640,809 votes, representing 51.30%. John Mahama has 6,121,817 votes, representing 47.29%. Now, others, including rejected votes, comes to 181,576 votes, representing 1.40%. Now, the 5 remaining constituencies to be published by your election headquarters have about 184,000 valid voters. With an average of 78% voter turnout, this could translate into 145,000 votes. Now, if all 145,000 votes are given to John Dramani Mahama, it is statistically impossible for the NDC candidate to achieve 50% plus 1 or more votes. Now, based on the above, your election headquarters projects Nana-Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to win the 2020 presidential elections.
Thank you for staying here on Joy 99.7 and Joy News on TV. This is your election headquarters, and Joy News is your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. I've still got head of our political desk, Evans Mensah, and if you were with us just about 5 to 10 minutes ago, you would have heard our projection of who would win the 2020 presidential elections. Evans, we have the statistics. Just run us through again.
So, of course, what we've done is to make a projection. The Electoral Commission has the constitutional mandate to declare who wins it. But based on the numbers that we have, we are in a position to project who the next president could be. And we are projecting for Nana-Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. And we are projecting as of now that if you, in essence, give all the votes that are left to John Dramani Mahama, it will still be statistically impossible for him to cross the 50% plus 1 mark to win the presidential race. And we did this analysis yesterday overnight into this morning. But of course, here in your election headquarters, we will prioritize accuracy over speed. And so overnight, we had to input a bit more and do a bit of the permutations to arrive at this very firm conclusion. What we're saying currently is that we have managed JoyNews, and the Joy brands have worked and put in the numbers. We're saying that the turnout currently is 78%. That is what we are projecting currently. This is very impressive average voter turnout of 78%. And this is, if you compare this to the 2016 turnout, we were at 69%, right? Now, this has implications for the outcome that we've projected today. What are the implications? With 270 constituency provisional results that we've already published by the Joy brands, this is Joy News, Joy 99.7 FM, myjoyonline.com, that we projected so far. We have just 7 constituencies left. 5 constituencies left. Over 98% of the constituencies have come in so far. That is, we're putting it in percentage terms. Out of that 270 published by us, by the Joy brands so far, and your favorites, Joy, Joy FM, Joy News, which you're on, and obviously live on Joy FM as well, those who are listening to us. We say that Nana-Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is leading John Dramani Mahama by as much as 518,000 votes. That's a lot in the scheme of things. And so What does this mean if you are doing the projections and the breakdown? We say that at this, with the current calculations, Nana-Addo has 6,640,809 votes, representing some 51.30%. Now, John Mahama has 6,121,817 votes. That represents 47.29%. There are others that we had to factor in also, because sometimes they also play an important role in the eventual outcome. The others, including rejected ballots altogether, comes to 1.40%. In actual numbers, you're talking about 181,576 votes, okay? Now, so that, having considered all the individuals running, that is the two main candidates and then the others, we come back to the 5 remaining constituencies that are yet to be published by, the Joy branch, your election headquarters. We have about 184,000 valid voters. Of course, that you can calculate that for of course our audiences. Now, but if you have that, then you come to what does your average turnout tell you with 184,000 voters left to go? We say with an average of 78% voter turnout, this will translate into 145,000 votes for our audiences. Now, it is from there then that you have to ask yourself, with this 145,000 votes that is left, and where John Mahama is as against where Nana-Addo Dankwa is, and the person in the lead, can you give all of the remainder based on the turnout to the trailing candidate? If you do that, what happens to him? Can he catch up? Can he still get to 50% plus one? Or does he shrink the leading candidate's lead back into the 40s,
zones.
Okay? Which means that you're going to move this into a runoff. So that's what we did. We say if you give all the 145,000 votes, okay, left based on the turnout to John Dramani Mahama, it remains statistically impossible for the NDC candidate to cross the magical 50 plus 1 that he requires to win it. And that is why, based on that, Joy News, Joy 99.7 FM, and all our Joy brands project this morning that this year, Nana-Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo will retain the presidency, and we expect that the EC definitely will declare in a few hours, and I'm sure the chips will be down very shortly.
Evans, I think it's important for us to state that we are working with certified results from the constituencies, and so these are not just figures we are putting together from anywhere. But talking about the voter turnout reminds me of the analysis you and Winston did on the eve of election, where you spoke about the trends in terms of the voter turnout and how they affect the incumbent's potential to retain or lose the election.
You're right, Bernice. And we had said, looking at the trend in terms of voter turnout and in terms of the outcome of the elections, there is a strong correlation. So we are at almost 80% voter turnout. I mean, the EC should give us the exact numbers. We've talked about 78 there. From 2000, if you look at the 2000 elections, the voter turnout in that particular elections was 61%. When that happened, very low. So let's take the broad conclusions here. The broad conclusion is that from the analysis, anytime voter turnout is 70% below, you tend to have a change in government. Anytime it is 80 or closer to 80 and above, way above 70 in the 80s and above, you have a retention of the incumbent. Okay, so a higher voter turnout relates to a retention of the government. A lower voter turnout relates to a change in government. And we're seeing high voter turnout today. And that, again, has panned out into our projection that shows that we're projecting for Nana-Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to win this year's elections. And it definitely explains a lot. And again, it has to be said, this high voter turnout is happening at the time when there's COVID, and there's a lot of people who thought, including myself, that somehow it will affect turnout. And again, all the polls prior to now that we've projected had said expect high voter turnout. In fact, many of them were projecting higher voter turnouts way sometime in the 90s, in the 80s. I mean, just around that same. So we're waiting for 5 for Joy News, Joy FM, waiting for 5 more constituencies to come. That may change the dynamics a bit. So definitely higher voter turnout links, and the trend has continued. It hasn't been broken this year.
It's interesting you talk about the trends, and we'll be doing more analysis here on your election headquarters. And I just want to inform you that we've got our men still on the ground. We're still working to get the figures from those 5 constituencies. But as you heard from head of our political desk, when we do all the calculations and permutations, it is statistically impossible for John Dramani Mahama to make that 50+1 that's required to win presidential elections here in Ghana. So our projection is that the NPP's Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo will win this year's election, and we'll wait for the EC to make the official declaration. We've got our men there, Israel Laye and Kwesi Parker-Wilson are at the EC's headquarters. We've got Elton Brobe at the residence of President Akufo-Addo. We've got Maxwell Agbagba, who is embedded in the team of John Dramani Mahama, and we'll definitely be picking reactions once the Electoral Commission makes that declaration, Evans. But another bit of controversial point in this election, which I've not seen in past elections, is the parliamentary seats and who really is winning the majority. And I know that we are working to get all those figures because both parties are claiming to have majority in parliament.
Yes, the Electoral Commission themselves overnight. Myself and Winston were on set when that very abruptly organized press was called and addressed for the first time by the chairperson. And she admits that they're still putting that together. But the reason why a bit of that it's not clear yet is because some of the elections in the constituencies are still subject of contest. And before that is done, and she mentioned it, there's a few places where it could be a case of one polling station result that a political party is contesting. You cannot certify it, and so you can call it. The thing about why the political parties can go ahead and say that is, I mean, they have the interest in this particular matter, and they also have deployed polling station agents, I believe, in all the polling stations, almost 40,000 of them across the country. And so they know what the outcome is already. But of course, when there's a contest and you are disputing the figures, although you would have a certain global figure for a constituency from polling stations, in the final analysis, the heat will mean you say I have won, I will say I have won. Mm-hmm. That is why the EC can't tell you, because the EC then have to sort it out, go to the legal processes before they can say who had won. And that's why we're seeing the two parties. Now, it is dangerous for a mini organization to go out and say, well, although they are fighting, this is an election, we can fact check and say who's won. I mean, you can do that, but to what end? In terms of the parliamentary seats, eventually we'll definitely get the clarity on this. And that's why, for us, we're waiting for some of these disputes in the constituencies that have become issues to be resolved. Once that is resolved, we can get clarity. I mean, this shouldn't take long for all these to be clarified. The presidential race was a key thing for people to watch, right? I think now people should have clarity with what, of course, Joy News and Joy FM and all our partners, of course, the multimedia group had just done. It offers some clarity as to what has happened at the presidential level. We will definitely bring the clarity at the parliamentary level as well very soon as our map and software begins to sort of populate a bit more. So we fill in for you and tell you who has won in parliament and who hasn't.
Evans, allow you to breathe a bit. We'll cross over now to the NPP's headquarters. Nanayao is with sister station Adum TV, and we are picking some reactions from there. But if you just joined us on Joy 99.7 and Joy News, our projection is that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo will win this year's election. Let's take you to the NPP's headquarters now.
Is the next president-elect. There have been jubilation at the headquarters, and we're here to interact with some of the supporters to know why they are jubilating. After you watching the projection from Joy News, how do you feel?
Feel okay, feel all right.
And do you think your party has won?
Yeah, my party has won. And I will tell you something small. I will tell you something small.
Okay. But let me try speaking with the chairperson for Greater Accra. Let me just try speaking to him in a jiffy to get something from and a reaction from you. Joy News and Adum TV has projected Nana Addo Dankwa as the president-elect. Do you accept that projection?
Yes, we've already done our collation, but of course, as you know, constitutionally, it's the Electoral Commission that's mandated legally to do this, and so we are waiting for them to do the, how do you call it, the declaration. Otherwise, we have done our collation already, and we know that we have won. Nana Addo, His Excellency, has won the presidency already. So that one is okay. What Joy News? And of course, take it or leave it. Over the years, we've all known Joy News for this. And so I know those who've been following them will know that what they are telling us is the truth. We've heard NDC, making noise, but they know. They know. John Mahama himself knows that, he's lost the election. So that's it.
You are the chairman in Greater Accra. Most of the seats in Greater Accra have been won by the NDC. Is it to say that you never did a good work?
Well, we did our best. The days leading to the election, somehow a lot of, fake news in the system and all seeking to run down, the enviable reputation of His Excellency, the President. This is Greater Accra. These things don't sell that well in the rural areas. But in the city centers like Greater Accra, Accra here, Kumasi, and those areas. So you can see that we did very well in the rural areas. But here in Accra, hard as we push, we rather came down. We were targeting 24 seats. Unfortunately, we didn't get that, and we rather lost 6 of our seats to the NDC. So, well, we're going back to the drawing board to look at what happened and then re-strategize, work towards 2024.
Have you seen your flag bearer?
So there was a live from the NPP's headquarters, Nanaya, with Adum TV sister station, picking reactions there from the Greater Accra regional chairman of the party and some supporters, even as we've projected Nana Akufo-Addo to win the 2020 presidential election. Head of our political desk, Evans Mensah, is still here with me. Evans,
isn't it something to expect when it's become clear now with this projection for party executives like the Greater Accra regional chairman, obviously to be excited about this, but they would have known this for a long time because of the ability to collate. Both parties have that ability to collate at the polling stations. But I guess it's key now to say what happens now, right? I mean,
what happens next?
Next, we expect an electoral commission definitely to they've said, last night into this morning, they've said today.
By close of day.
By close of day today, they should be in a position to give us the declaration, official declaration. I mean, I'm pretty sure we'll be crossing over there shortly to get Parker Wilson and Israel, who have been on the beat for us all day, to give us clarity about when exactly that might be. The thing about when you get to this time is, although your favorite candidate possibly has won or lost, depending on where you stand, you're either struggling with accepting what it is, especially if it's a defeat, it's difficult. But I mean, you have to commend Ghanaians. I mean, in spite of the tension, largely, we've seen people overnight. I saw Maxwell Abagba was in the heat of people jubilating, right? They'll probably wake up this morning and listen to Joy 99.7 FM or listen to and watch us or Adum or on Joy News, etc., and realize what the actual numbers say. It's okay. Politics is like that. Politics is you win some, you lose some. I mean, and the politicians who have been in this game today know that's what it is. I just heard an incumbent member of parliament who lost. You spoke to her just
no, she's actually Upper East Regional Minister who defeated the incumbent Akufo-Addo, yes, and she was hoping to win. Yes.
And she lost, right?
Yeah.
And she was magnanimous enough in reaching out and saying she's lost. And you actually asked the question, they said, when in the primaries, right? Yeah. She even went a step further, right? That is what the politics should be. I believe you lose, you win some, you congratulate, you're magnanimous. I mean, and I think people appreciate that. I mean, we're in a country where time was We have a presidential candidate whose biggest unique selling proposition was he was Asumdwe Hene, right? I mean, man of peace. I mean, you know who that is.
Yes, yes, yes.
And that puts him in a certain light. We have John Kufuor, who also assumed the nickname the Gentle Giant. I mean, Ghanaians value that quality in our leaders, the ability to, and John Dramani Mahama. In 2016, he was incumbent. I remember that press conference he called outside of his, with his children around him, conceding defeat to then opposition leader Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo. I mean, we've shown over the years that our leaders definitely appreciate the need to keep this peace, and that when all this is, the race is run, I am confident that they will come back to doing what we expect, which is accepting, conceding, congratulating, being even when. And the point is, those who have won, bear in mind that the other side, some may be grieving, and so don't rub it in. I mean, that for me is very important to keep the peace.
All right, let's head down to the president's residence. Elton Brobe is still there for us. Hello, Elton. Any reactions for us?
Yes, Bernice. All right, so we had minimal celebration when JoyNews projected that Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo will win the 2020 presidential elections. Indeed, here at the residence, I mean, the whole residence went into a frenzy after Evans came on air and projected, by per our calculation, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo most likely to win the 2020 presidential elections. So they jubilated, they started playing music, but as I speak, they are back in their chairs. My information is that they want to give the Electoral Commission and the people of this country the respect that they deserve. So they will wait for the Electoral Commission to come formally and announce the outcome of the presidential and parliamentary elections. But the projection that we had some few minutes ago quite clearly is in line with what they had projected even before we came on air, per their own calculations from their own collation center. So in the background is the residence, and there is actually a podium that is being here since morning, awaiting the official announcement by the Electoral Commission, and President Akufo-Addo will mount the stage and then speak to the nation. And from the way things are going, it appears that as far as the presidential election is concerned, Nana Akufo-Addo is most likely to form the next government and then govern for the next 4 years. What people are asking for in this residence is what is the state of the parliamentary seats, 275 of them. Is the MPP in the lead? Are they trailing behind the NDC? Would there be a hung parliament, or would they go into parliament with a slim majority, which is appearing to be the picture as of now? But what is what are the figures? Is it 137, 140? This is the question that a lot of people are asking here. Like I said early on, the jubilation was short-lived because my information is that they want the Electoral Commission to come formally and announce the outcome of the election. And then I can tell you for a fact that the celebration will start. Even outside the walls of President Akufo-Addo's party supporters are here in their numbers, going up and down, singing, jubilating, dancing here and there. But the information is that they want to wait patiently for the Electoral Commission to come forth and declare the outcome of the election. But going by their own calculation and collation, that is in sync with what we just projected. They think that barring any hitches, Nana Akufo-Addo is the president-elect, and that formal announcement is what they are waiting the Electoral Commission to declare. And President Akufo-Addo will come out here, speak to the media, speak to Ghanaians through the media, and then I'm sure that the celebration will start.
All right, Elton. Yes, we all are awaiting that declaration by the Electoral Commission. The Electoral Commission says by close of day, but have you picked any information from the President's team on when exactly this is likely to happen?
So people I've spoken to, they tell me that the Electoral Commission is left with only two regions, results from two regions, and they are very sure that in the hours to follow, hopefully in the next 2 hours, that formal announcement will come. In the House right now, President Akufo-Addo is here, his vice, Dr. Bawumia, is here. Leading members of the party, they are all here. they appears to be in readiness, waiting for electoral commission to come through and announce to the whole country the outcome of the elections. They are saying that they are from the information they've picked from the corridors of the electoral commission, the EC is going through validating results from 2 regions, and then the formal announcement will follow at the Accra International Conference Center. Then after that, looking at the way things have turned out to be per our projection, and from what we are hearing, it has appeared President Akufo-Addo rather been making an acceptance speech rather than a concession.
All right, Elton, is the president himself at his residence?
Of course, Benis, and together with the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and some leading members of the party.
We'll leave it here for now, Elton, and we'll head to the Ashanti region. Ohiming Teria is standing by, and I understand with the regional organizer of the NPP, will first give us a reaction to our projection, which is that Nana Akufo-Addo will win this year's election. Ohiming Teria.
Hello, Benis.
I understand you have the NPP's Ashanti region organizer with you, Francis Adomako.
Yes, Benis, I do have Mr. Francis Adomako with me. Over the period, he has been very vocal and also all over the place campaigning for the new patriotic party in the Ashanti region, considered one of the strongholds of the new patriotic party. Indeed, the MPP was targeting all the 47 constituencies in the Ashanti region as far as the parliamentary elections were concerned. So let me find out from Mr. Adomako. Multimedia group JoyNews TV has projected Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo as being the winner or the president-elect for the 2020 elections. What is your reaction to this?
All right, thank you very much. First of all, let me say good morning to all those, my listeners and those watching me. Let me congratulate the president in advance based on the projected victory from JoyNews and multimedia. The party knew, definitely based on our collated results, that definitely will win. Again, let me use this opportunity also to congratulate all the MPs elect belonging to MPP nationwide and from Ashanti region. A lot have been done. And this is what the Ghanaians have given us. Let me take this opportunity also to thank all our various stakeholders, all the parliamentary candidates, all the ministers, all the CEOs, the regional executives, the constituency executives, the various identifiable groups, the MMDCs, the polling station executives, the electoral area coordinators, and now all our teaming supporters.
So it means that the list is endless. Yes. Let's talk about the MPP's Agenda 4747. You projected to win all the 47 parliamentary seats in the Ashanti region. How did it go so far?
All right, thank you very much. First of all, let me thank all those who voted for us. We did a yeoman's job. Earlier on, we were having 44 constituencies. We are targeted as Swansea, which is close nearby, Edra, Setra, Dumasi, and Setra Famplins. Unfortunately, these 3 that we were targeting to add to our food, to make it 47, did not happen. As a party, it's early days yet. We have not sat down to look at, to digest, and to do a postmortem with regards to what really happened, that we couldn't get the 3 constituencies we were targeting.
But you even went ahead to lose a seat that was, you had a member of parliament in New Edibiase.
New Edibiase, previously, 2012 was not our seat. It was belonging to NDC. Fortunately for us, we were able to snatch it from NDC in 2016. This time around, it has gone back to NDC. Like I said earlier on, as a party, after this, I believe that the Electoral Commission will come out to give the final verdict. After the final verdict, the party in the region will sit down and look at one constituency after the other. Even all the constituencies that we won, we'll look at the SWOT analysis. We'll consider what really happened in each of the constituencies and what we need to do moving forward.
Looking at the 2016 elections, the votes garnered by then President Akufo-Addo compared to the 2020 elections, you could see there's a vast difference, a drop in the percentage of votes. In 2016, the votes that the president had was about 76%. In 2020, it's about 71%. What happened to you as a party?
Okay, like I said, it's early days here. We've not sat down as a party to do the proper analysis of what really happened. But one thing I could see, the very day that we were doing the election was going on, some of our people, market women still wanted to go to the market. I remember I had a call from somewhere where people were complaining that the market had been closed and they wanted to go to the market. It's an election day. The president has given us holiday, thinking that all of us will sacrifice and go to the poll to go and vote. On that very day, you saw people, I don't know whether it was complacency, that, oh, even if I don't vote, MPP will still win. So I believe that the voters in the region, in one way or the other, even though majority of them voted, some, I believe, still didn't go and vote. I, for one, was moving from one place to another, picking people into my car, trying to see how best I can go and vote. I was moving from one polling station to another, finding out those who have not voted, drive to their houses, find out wherever they are, put them in my car. So you could tell people were relaxed, and I don't know as to whether they felt that, oh, even if they don't go, others will go, and definitely MPP will win. I believe that we would surely sit down and look at it holistically.
So, in short, voter apathy contributed to about 500,000 votes that your presidential candidate lost in the Ashanti region.
I believe there are a lot of factors, and as you really rightly said, voter apathy will not be left out.
So, going forward, what will happen, for instance, to the number of parliamentary seats that you lost? Would you want to say that probably the party didn't do well in annexing the 3 more seats to the extent that you lost one in your bid to get 3 more?
I wouldn't say the party did not do well. Like I said, the party will sit down. We have a regional campaign team. So all of us will sit down and discuss thoroughly and look at what did we do right and what we didn't do well and correct our mistakes.
Okay, so Benis, this is Mr. Francis Adomako taking us through what happened led to the party not winning the 47 seats in Ashanti region. As the party had projected earlier, they had targeted 47 seats in Ashanti region. But you know, the party lost 1 seat and conceded 3 more seats to the NDC. So this is Mr. Adomako's position as far as this matter is concerned. He also touched on the fact that many voters in the region were complacent, and that probably led to the presidential candidate Akufo-Addo losing about 500,000 votes in the Ashanti region if you compare what he garnered in 2016 to the votes that he had in 2020, Benis.
Thank you very much, Ohiming Teria, there coming to us live from Kumasi. First, picking a reaction from the MPP's Ashanti region organizer, Francis Adomako, to our projection that Akufo-Addo will win the 2020 presidential race. If you just joined us, this is your election headquarters live on Joy 99.7 and Joy News on TV. A while ago, head of our political desk, Evans Mensah, explained why we are making this projection. And if you can see, for those of you on radio, you can't see, but on television, we've put our figures that as we've received them, 270 out of 275 constituencies, and the MPP's Akufo-Addo has 6,640,809 votes, and the NDC's John Dramani Mahama has 6,121,817. And what we are saying is, based on the number of votes left in that region, it is statistically impossible, even if the NDC's John Mahama picks up all those votes, for him to make up the 50+1 or reduce the margin of President Akufo-Addo beyond the 50+1 vote, which will obviously send the elections into a runoff. I've still got Evan Spencer here with me, and what we are going to do now is to pick the confirmed parliamentary results from our regional correspondents. Let's start from the central region, where Richard Kojo-Nyarko is there for us. So what will happen is that, Richard, you tell us the number of constituencies, the number of seats the NDC has won, the number of seats the NPP has won, and if there are any other constituencies that are being contested, you let us know.
And this is important, Ben, is for us to do this, because now we've projected Nana Addo to be the winner, but the great controversy revolves around the parliament, and this is a parliamentary map. You go into central region. All right. And so this is a central regional map in terms of parliamentary, right? And it looks very blue and greeny. And so that's why this has become very contested, because who is winning here is key. And so I'm curious to see what Kojo has for us in terms of the actual picture of who has won what and what is still in contest. Kojo?
Well, Evans, let's start from the commended Negua for Brim constituency. The projection is that these are confirmed results. The NDC candidate won, and so Samuel Atamos retained his seat in the Commander Edna Egua for Ebrim constituency. If you come to the Cape Coast North constituency, Barbara Ashaisi of the MPP was unseated by Dr. Kwame Namintanyako, and so the NDC again has a seat in the Cape Coast North constituency. In the Cape Coast South constituency, Kweku Rickett Hagan retained his seat. And so the NDC has a third seat in the Cape Coast South. So we have KEA, Cape Coast South, Cape Coast North. Then we go to the Chifu Etimukwa constituency. The MPP lost that seat to the NDC. And so there the NDC has that seat, and it is confirmed. If you go to the Gomua West constituency, the NPP candidate, the deputy minister, lost, lawyer Aban, lost to the NDC, and so that seat had also been won by the NDC. If you go to the Aguna East, Queensta Pokia Sawyer managed to retain her seat, and so that seat has been retained. If you go to the Ewutu Senya West constituency, George Anda lost that seat to Gisela Tete. If you go to the Jumaku Enyan Esiam constituency, confirmed KCL Atoforsen retained his seat. The Kumfi Kingsley Atukujo of the NPP lost that seat to Abeku Krentel of the NDC. So again, this seat has also gone to the NDC. If you go to the Gomua East constituency, the NPP lost this very seat, and so that seat has also gone to the NDC. If you go to the Asin North, Abna Druwa Mensa lost that seat to the NDC. And so these are the confirmed seats that are with the NDC currently.
Do this. Tell us the total number of seats in the central region. How many of them went to the NDC and how many went to the NPP?
So we have a total number of 23 constituencies. And before this election, the NPP had 19 and the NDC had 4. Now, let me run you through the constituencies that the NPP has. The Infantiman constituency has been retained by the NPP. Gomua Central, Naneya retained her seat. Aguna West, Cynthia Morrison retained a seat. Ewutu Senya East, the MPP retained that seat. Efutu Afenyomakin retained that seat. If you go to the Himalawa Denchura, Bright Rekubrobe, the Deputy Minister of Employment and Labor Relations, retained the seat. If you go to the Abra Sebu Kwamankase, the NP, the incumbent, also retained the seat by beating Felix Kwachiofosu to some 176 votes. If you go to the Asin South, the NPP MP there also retained the seat. Asin Central, Kennedy Japan also retained the seat. Now, there is only one seat in the Central region that is in contention now. That is the Upper Dentra West constituency, and currently the leaders of the various political parties with the Electoral Commission, they are locked up in a meeting at a regional headquarters here. So we wait for the outcome of that constituency.
All right, Richard, we'll leave it here for now. But Evans, you've got our map. Like you just mentioned, there's a bit of dispute over the results in Upper Dentra West. But we've got our map here just so that you can have a pictorial sense of what Richard Kotinyako has just been telling us. Yes, so Evans, just run us through it.
So if you see the blue, a simple case of doing mathematics to just look at how many blues are there as against what you have for the greens. And so your mathematics is better than my, Bennett. So you have a blue of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in there, in the region. I want to quickly put it up, so I'll write it on the screen for you. So that is the MPP. MPP there is 10, right? We counted 10 for the MPP. Okay. Now, if you do that for the NDC, you get a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
There's Cape Coast
There's
South.
11.
Yes.
We're waiting for this to come in. Also, and there's also Awutu Senior West, where they flipped from George Anders' constituency there, which is also here. If you add that today, you're talking about 12, right?
Yeah.
So that is for the NDC. So I want to pull this back down here. I prefer my finger to this. Let's use that. The NDC. Yeah, the NDC. We have the NDC doing that in 12 here.
All right, okay.
So this is important. I'll do this so that you follow us as we begin to break this down for you.
So this is 22, and we just mentioned that we're left with the Upper Dentra West, and that will make up the sum total of 23 constituencies. Yeah. And so there's just one more in contention. The NDC has 12, the NPP has 10. We're waiting for that, and so we're just trying to do this to try and settle the contention over who's won what when it comes to parliamentary seats. Let's head to the Upper East now. Albert, sorry, tell us how many constituencies in all, how many of the seats have been picked up by the NPP, the NDC, or the other parties?
Yes, Benny. So in the Upper East region, we have 15 constituencies, 15. The NPP has won only one. Now, what happened is that the NPP won Binduri. Before this election, the NPP had 3 seats in the Upper East region. One was Timpani, the other one was Boku West, popularly known as Zebila, and then the other one was Navrongo Central, which was held by Akufo-Addo. Now they've lost all these 3 seats, but they managed to snatch the Binduri seat previously held by Robert Babakuga Nablem of the NDC. So the NPP has Binduri now, which is the only seat they have won, and the remaining 14 are for the NDC. If we start from the Bulsa area, Bulsa South, Clement Apak won there. He has maintained his seat. Bulsa North is where we have James Agalga. He has also retained his seat. We come to Chana Paga. Chana Paga has been won by the NDC as well. Thomas Dalu won that seat. We come to Navrongo Central. The regional minister, Tangoba Abayage, who you spoke to earlier, was contesting there after she won the primaries against Akufo-Addo. She has lost Navrongo Central, so the seat is now for the NDC, and Samson Tangombo Chiragia has Navrongo Central.
All right, so Albert, and these are certified results. So for the Upper East region, it's done and dusted. We don't have any constituency where there are disputes over the figures, right?
No, there are no disputes. The only issue we had was in Talensi, where after the results were collated, there was some sort of discrepancy in terms of what the political party agents had and what was recorded. They brought that to the regional level in Bolga, and by evening, late last night, that issue was resolved and the results were officially released. So there are no disputes or challenges anywhere in the Upper East region.
Dealing with figures, I just want to be dead sure we heard you right. 15 constituencies, the NPP has 1, the NDC has 14, correct? All right, so Albert, did you hear me?
Yes, I heard you, Benny. So yes, you are correct. We have 15 constituencies. NDC has 14. The NPP has only 1 seat in the Upper East region.
All right, thank you very much. That's Albert Sorry coming to us from the Upper East region. So here again, Evans, we have the figures released. 14 for the NDC, 1 for the NPP.
Yes, and important to note that this is an NPP loss, that loss from 2016. You did the interview with the Tango Abaye, who was contesting this year for the and that seat has gone now. They used to have 3, as our correspondent told us there. So NPP has lost 2 seats, has kept 1. NDC has gained from what it used to be, 11? And they've added, sorry, they used to be 12. They've added 2 more. They've taken 2 more from the NPP there. And so that is a story emerging, an NDC gain where an NPP has lost in the Upper East region. So 1 as against 14, coming down to 15 in total. And NDC is in the commanding lead in terms of the seats there in the Upper East. But again, people said that is expected because it has always been a stronghold of the. I want to pull this back so we could appreciate. This is the 2020 map, right?
But we are led to fill in for Talency. Like you heard him mention, there were issues with the figures in Talency, but that's been rectified. And so from our back room, we'll fill in the figures. But Talency has been won by the NDC.
I want to quickly. So this is the 2016 map, right? This is the 2016 map of the of the area, right? And you see the picture emerge of the three MPP seats that they held, right? That now have all gone. So Navrongo Central, Zibela have all been taken back, flipped by the NDC.
And just before you proceed, Binduri, which has been won by the NPP now, was actually for the NDC.
Yeah.
So they've lost all the seats they had for the NPP and won 1 from the NDC.
Yes, they've taken it back. I mean, so that is an interesting, of course, permutation there in the Upper East region. So that's a story in the Upper East region. What we're going to be doing for you, this is a 2020 picture again, as we just showed you. We're going to be going, Talency now. Talency now has now come in. Our map has now picked it up and it's showing Benson T. Baba having won it for the NDC. And this is an impressive showing in an area where the NDC traditionally had done well. It was in the 2016 that they performed poorly, but they've come back to default setting. and taking the lead there. In fact, if you go to 2012, you see the story again of the Upper East region emerge in this area, where we have one interesting candidate there also picking a seat. That is the PNC's Hassan Azon.
This was in 2012.
If you know, this is 2012. And so the story is Napdam, so that's a story in 2012. But here we are in 2020, where the NDC is back to its A game. They brought their A game to the Upper East region.
Yeah, all right.
And won back a lot of the seats.
Okay, Evans, we'll be visiting more regions and trying to get the figures and do the balance for you. But right now, we are showing you visuals from the EC's headquarters, and we understand that some supporters of a political party are massing up there. We'll get our men there to give us the details exactly, but we can see that vehicle of the police there at the EC headquarters around Rich. The police is trying to, I can see, direct some vehicles, but what we are picking up is that supporters of a political party are massing up at the EC's headquarters, and our men there will be giving us more details. We're expecting the EC to declare the results by close of today, but our projection here at Joy News and Joy FM is President Akufo-Addo is likely to win or will win the 2020.
And Benis, as you watch the visuals unfold, look at the numbers, the teaming numbers of people who are now besieging the Electoral Commission headquarters. And I see a political party vehicle. It appears the NDC's the NDC's vehicle is there. And I understand that we're going to our correspondent shortly who is on the standby for us. But I want to put this in context. We saw this play out in 2008. We'll tell the story shortly, which again appears to be repeating itself this year.
Parker, if you can hear me, I can see some of the supporters chanting, some of them holding placards. What exactly is happening? Hello, Parker. So these are live sounds and visuals coming from the EC's headquarters or just around the EC's headquarters at Ritchie and Accra. We understand that supporters of the NDC are massing up there. I can see placards. It's very difficult for me to read the inscriptions on it. I'll get our man on the ground, Parker, to do that for us. We can also hear people saying some stuff, chanting, playing music. Parker will tell us all those details in a moment. But we are also going to our correspondents in the various regions and getting the figures on the parliamentary seats.
But the scenes I'm seeing there is a scene of jubilation. They seem to be dancing with, the men are dancing with the women. It's while some people are holding placards and others are jubilating. I understand Parker is ready now. Hello, Parker. What are these inscriptions on the placards and why are these supporters massing up close to the EC's headquarters?
At the Braka. Now, as you can see, there are hundreds of NDC supporters who have come here this afternoon amassing in front of the EC headquarters. That is the situation here. The police have called for reinforcement. So please. So the police have called for reinforcement, and these individuals are here. Boss, I want to find out from you, why are you here this afternoon?
Oh, you want peace? You want peace? Because 2016, President Mahama accepted the defeat. Now Akufo-Addo came for power. Accepted the defeat. Akufo-Addo came to power. Now I didn't know that you win the election. That's why I'm here. After the voter come here, because of I know that I win the election.
How do you know that your flag bearer in the NDC has won the election?
I will let you know. The how the electoral commission they calculate that thing, the same thing Mahamatu they calculate that thing. He let the people they calculate that thing. So if you tell them this thing, you know patient, the same patient, the agent hold NDC holder, that the same patient. So you know that. So you know that. So you know. Let him know. Listen to me very carefully. 2016, not be the electoral commission declared the election. Victor Bilante declared the election.
Okay, but the electoral commission is yet to declare the result. It's too long. We don't know who has won yet. But so why don't you wait for the electoral commission to declare the result?
Electoral commission, it promises 24 hours. 24 hours, you go declare the election. He referred to the declare election, so that he started to change the MP. If the person win, following day, you want the recount.
Okay, so you want the electoral commission to declare the results now? That's what you are saying. Okay, let me talk to you, boss. You are also here. Where are you from? Why are you here?
I'm from Abekan, and the whole Ghana know that JM have already won the election. Should remember last 4 years. Where we reach, he never reached that place, but he already declared himself. So he should not fuck up. We don't have.
Why don't you wait for the EC, Jimensa chairperson, to declare the result? Then we all know why.
The reason why. No, can we wait? No, the reason why we can never wait is it's supposed to be 48 hours, and now we are entering another 24 hours again, added to the 48 hours. So we don't understand them, and we know that we have already won the election. So
the people here say they know that the NDC, they're claiming that the NDC has won the election. projection. Okay, so you wait. I'll speak to you one by one. I am going to speak to you one after the other. So kindly wait. We want to understand why you are here this afternoon. We are live on TV, so let's wait, and then we'll speak to each and every one of you. So, sir, let me speak to you as well. Where are you from? You are here this. Why are you from? What's your name?
You don't supposed to ask me why am I here.
Yes.
The reason why I'm here, our JM have win already. So I want to give you the message to tell the Electoral Commission to advise Nanado to step down. I finish.
But the EC hasn't declared yet.
No, I want to tell you should advise the EC to declare for your mama. Let Nanado to step down.
But did the party ask these people to come here?
No, they don't use the word. No, don't use the word the party. I love the party. That's why I'm here. Okay. I finished my topic. So let the word go to the EC. Should do the right thing.
Okay. And so these are the people who are here this afternoon at the right opposite the headquarters of the Electoral Commission. Now, just across the street is where the police people are. They've called for reinforcement, so they want to ward off the NDC supporters from invading the Electoral Commission premises. There are more individuals here. Now, let me talk to you finally, so we can get. I saw Anita Disoso here. We'll try and then speak to them. So, boss, so what are your concerns here this afternoon?
Yes, we are from Okankonof constituency. You see, we are here because of just one thing. Some media houses are creating tension in the country. Typical example is multimedia. At 11:30 a.m. this morning, they were projecting Anado as winners and they declared on their team. Chief Jerry Forson was part of the people who did that. We want to send a clear message to the EC and everybody that we are here. From the projections yesterday, we know JM is leading. The people voted for change. We are here for peace. Nobody is fighting anybody. We just want Jimensa to do the needful, declare John Mahama for peace to prevail. Without that, we are not going to accept anything more than a declaration for JM.
So these are. We are moving to the city. We'll come to you, but we'll move to the city so that we want to show our viewers the police who are here this afternoon. So as you can see, they barricaded the whole. In fact, one road has been blocked. If you look at those coming from that is the hospital, they have blocked that road leading to the Ridge Hospital, and so the police are stationed and have warded off the NDC supporters from invading the Electoral Commission premises. The people are saying that they will stay here until the EC declares the result. And I can see some of the things that they've written on their placards for Ijapa and PDS scandal. We will vote you out. So that is what they are saying. This one says Akufo-Addo, the president. Okay, you're talking about corruption here, and Ghana has spoken. Let the EC declare the result. And the message, or what they are chanting, is we need peace, we need peace, we need peace, we need peace. So that is what they've been saying, and this is the message here this afternoon. Yes, sir. So finally, your word for me.
Chairman, I talk to you. I say we catch you. I don't know we are seeing. I don't know it here.
You go ahead.
Yes. Amutie station be a amonti omo wase. Eno sa no nanchen. Okankwe no ofofo ye ba ha no. Ye to aba eyi oba foforo ye nsisa ye. Nsisa na chi ne yehu se MP wo no ye city MP. Aye MPP o ye Fuseni. Okofo ballot box tanko di be wuram. No,
so the military just arrived. The military just arrived here as well. So the police clearly are calling for reinforcement, both from the police side and also from from the military as well. So these are the concerns they are raising here at the right opposite the Electoral Commission. So if you can hear me, this is the situation here at the EC headquarters, where a number of NDC supporters have invaded the premises. In fact, they've blocked the roads, and that they have decided.
We'll go back to Chrissy Parker-Wilson shortly. Evans mentioned the numbers are increasing there, even as supporters of the NDC mass up. Winston Amma will be joining Evans Mensah shortly.